Hi there, it's Reverend Mark here, and welcome to our thought for the day. At some of our recent Sunday morning services, we've been reflecting on what it means to live the resurrection, to put into practice what we believe. And as we've been doing that, it reminded me of a story written by a guy called Peter Rollins, and it's taken from this book called The Orthodox Heretic, which are a range of thought-provoking tales, and some of them seem very kind of like parables in some way. But I wanted to share this particular one with you today. This is called Being the Resurrection. So late that evening, a group of unknown disciples packed their few belongings and left for a distant shore. For they could not bear to stay another moment in the place where their Messiah had just been crucified. Weighed down with sorrow, they left that place, never to return. Instead, they travelled a great distance in search of a land that they could call home. And after months of difficult travel, they finally happened upon an isolated area that was ideal for setting up a new community. Here they found fertile ground, clean water, and a nearby forest from which to harvest material needed to build shelter. So they settled there, founding a community far from Jerusalem, a community where they vowed to keep the memory of Christ alive and live in simplicity, love, and forgiveness, just as he had taught them. The members of this community lived in great solitude for over 100 years, spending their days reflecting on the life of Jesus and attempting to remain faithful to his ways. And they did all this despite the overwhelming sorrow in their hearts. But their isolation was eventually broken when early one morning, a small band of missionaries reached the settlement. These missionaries were amazed at the community they found. What was most startling to them was that these people had no knowledge of the resurrection and the ascension of Christ, for they had left Jerusalem before his return from the dead on the third day. Without hesitation, the missionaries gathered together all the community members and recounted what had occurred after the imprisonment and bloody crucifixion of their Lord. Well, that evening there was a great festival in the camp as people celebrated the news of the missionaries. Yet as the night progressed, one of the missionaries noted that the leader of the community was absent. This bothered the young man, so he set out to look for this respected elder. Eventually, he found the community's leader crouched low in a small hut on the fringe of the village, praying and weeping. "Why are you in such sorrow?" asked the missionary in amazement. "Today is a time of great celebration." "It may indeed be a day for great celebration, but this is also a day of sorrow," replied the elder, who remained crouched on the floor. "Since the founding of this community, we have followed the ways taught to us by Christ. We pursued his ways faithfully, even though it cost us dearly. And we remained resolute despite the belief that death had also defeated him and would one day defeat us also." The elder slowly got to his feet and looked the missionary compassionately in the eyes. "Each day we have forsaken our very lives for him, because we judged him wholly worthy of the sacrifice, wholly worthy of our being. But now, following your news, I am concerned that my children and my children's children may follow him, not because of his radical life and supreme sacrifice, but selfishly, because his sacrifice will ensure their personal salvation and eternal life." With this, the elder turned and left the hut, making his way to the celebrations that could be heard dimly in the distance, leaving the missionary crouched on the floor.